As nurses, we assess the various developmental levels across the lifespan using the principles of developmental theories. We will explore three essential theories that help us understand human development across the lifespan. These are Erikson's psychosocial development, cognitive development by Piaget, and Kohlberg's moral development. These theories are crucial for assessing the psychosocial, cognitive, and moral well-being of our patients, which is an integral part of holistic nursing care. Before we go into these theories, let us first define two key terms: growth and development. Growth refers to the physical changes that occur in the body throughout life, such as increases in height and weight. Development, on the other hand, refers to behavioral, cognitive, and emotional adaptations over time. A combination of biological, psychological, and social factors influences how we grow and develop across the lifespan. As nurses, we assess these changes to provide comprehensive patient care. Erikson, a psychoanalyst, expanded on Freud's theories to create a psychosocial model of human development. He proposed that individuals go through 8 stages of psychosocial development, each defined by a unique psychological conflict. How these conflicts are resolved influences a person's social and emotional well-being. This theory emphasizes the role of society and interpersonal relationships in shaping personality. Erikson introduced key concepts in his theory, including psychosocial crisis and virtues. Each stage of development presents a crisis, a conflict between two opposing forces. If the crisis is successfully resolved, the individual develops a virtue or strength that aids in further growth. For example, an infant must develop trust in caregivers to establish a sense of security. These stages guide us in understanding a patient's emotional and social challenges. Now let's look at Erikson's 8 stages of development. Trust versus mistrust. This occurs during infancy. Infants learn to trust caregivers who provide consistent care. Example, a baby cries when hungry and the caregiver responds with feeding. This builds trust. Autonomy versus shame and doubt. At this point, toddlers learn independence. Example, a toddler insists on dressing themselves, fostering autonomy. Initiative versus guilt. This is during the preschool age. Children develop initiative by taking leadership roles during play. Example is a preschooler organizing a game with friends. This builds initiative. industry versus inferiority. During school age, children gain competence in skills and academics. Example is a child mastering math builds industry, whereas repeated failure may lead to feelings of inferiority. Identity versus role confusion. At this point, adolescents explore their identity. A teenager may try different hobbies to find their passion. During adulthood, young adults form intimate relationships. This is the stage of intimacy versus isolation. When a young adult is able to build meaningful friendships and romantic relationships, then intimacy is achieved. Generativity versus stagnation. During middle adulthood, these adults contribute to society. Example is a nurse mentoring new nurses, which exemplifies generativity. Integrity versus despair, which happens during older adulthood. Reflecting on life with either satisfaction or regret. Example is a retired teacher who feels fulfilled in her career experiences integrity. Jean Piaget is a Swiss psychologist who studied how humans acquire and develop knowledge. His theory focuses on how children construct their understanding of the world through interaction and experience. Piaget identified 4 stages of cognitive development, emphasizing processes such as assimilation, accommodation, and equilibration. There are key concepts Piaget introduced to explain how we learn. We have the schemas. These are mental frameworks that help us interpret the world. Assimilation. This is incorporating new experiences into existing schemas. Accommodation. Adjusting schemas when new information doesn't fit. Equilibration, the process of balancing assimilation and accommodation for cognitive stability. When a child sees a zebra for the first time and calls it a horse, this is assimilation. When corrected, the child learns that a zebra is a different animal and adjusts his understanding. This is accommodation. Piaget's 4 stages explain how thinking evolves from infancy to adulthood. The sensory motor, from 0 to 2 years. This is a time when learning is through senses and action. Example is a baby shaking a rattle to understand sound production. Pre-operational. This happens during 2 to 7 years, wherein symbolic thinking and egocentrism is developed, such as when a child pretends a stick is a sword. Concrete operational from 7 to 11 years, where logical thinking and problem solving happens. Such when a child understands that water in different shaped glasses is the same amount. Formal operational from 7 years onwards, when abstract reasoning and hypothetical thinking is developed, such as when a teenager debates ethical dilemmas. Lawrence Kohlberg extended Piaget's work to explore moral reasoning. He proposed that moral development progresses through 6 stages, grouped into 3 levels. Moral reasoning is influenced by cognitive abilities, social environment, and experiences. Kohlberg focused on how individuals make ethical decisions. His key concepts include moral reasoning, the thought process behind ethical choices; justice perspective, emphasizing fairness and rights; progression through stages, higher moral reasoning is achieved over time. Kohlberg's theory consists of 3 levels, each with 2 stages. Pre-conventional level during childhood. Stage 1 is obedience and punishment. The child aims to avoid punishment, such as the child following rules to avoid getting scolded. Stage 2, self-interest. This is acting based on personal gain. A child shares toys only when rewarded. Conventional level, from adolescence to adulthood. Stage 3, interpersonal relationships, seeking approval. Example is a teenager obeying school rules to gain teacher approval. Stage 4, authority and social order. The teenager follow rules and laws, like stopping at a red light because it's the law. Post-conventional level, during adulthood. Stage 5, social contract, understanding different moral values, such as supporting free speech even if one disagrees with an opinion. Stage 6, universal ethical principles, acting based on moral science. Stage 6, universal ethical principles, acting based on moral conscience. Example is a doctor treating an uninsured patient because it's ethically right. These 3 theories provide a comprehensive framework for understanding human development. Erikson's theory helps us assess psychosocial growth. Piaget's model explains cognitive progression, and Kohlberg's framework guides our understanding of moral reasoning. By integrating these theories into nursing assessments, we can better understand our patients' holistic needs. needs.